Hey everybody, welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark. I'm Megan, and today we are coming to you not with a review of a new movie, but with a new to you review, and that is our review of Winter in Vail, starring Lacey Chabert and Tyler Hynes. This is a re-release of a Patreon episode that we released over a year ago. We decided since Wendy's traveling this weekend, we are not going to be reviewing either of this weekend's newest movies. We didn't want to leave you hanging, so we pulled this one from the Patreon vault. We also wanted to let you know that you'll hear us reference Tyler Hynes Month. That was a feature we were doing on Patreon. We don't currently have a Girls Gone Hallmark tier on Patreon, but we'd consider bringing one back if there was demand for it. Let us know. Enjoy this review of Winter in Vail. Welcome to a bonus episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. I'm Megan.
I'm Wendy.
And welcome to Tyler Hynes Month. That means that every month we're going to be choosing a new dude of Hallmark and diving into their back catalog with one of their previous Hallmark movies and then something outside of the Hallmark world. You know, our first month had to be Tyler freaking Hynes.
I mean, yeah, I'd have to quit if it wasn't.
So we started with Winter in Vail, a movie that neither of us thought we had seen. One of us was wrong, that stars Tyler Hynes and Lacey Chabert, which feels like a strong choice right out of the gate.
Well, okay, so first of all, I want to talk about how I don't know when I've watched this movie. Upon rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this movie. When would I have sat down in the year 2021 and watched this movie?
Well, it's a 2020 movie, right?
It came out on January 4th, 2020. So it was part of the, it wasn't called New Year, New Movies. It was called, Winterfest?
Yeah.
And we were not reviewing Hallmark movies at that time.
No, not even close. The podcast didn't even exist at that point. So who knows? Maybe you came across a Lacey Chabert movie on the guide and clicked play?
No idea.
Or perhaps you watched, it may have replayed last year when we were doing Hallmark movies and you just sat down and dug in.
I might have just been like, oh, Tyler Hynes, because he was in one of the very first movies that we watched on the 12th
date of Christmas.
And I was like, who is this hottie? And then I might have looked up other Tyler Hynes movies. So maybe that's why I've seen it. So let me give the synopsis for the listeners. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chelsea inherits a house in Vail. She meets Owen and gets a much-needed break. Together, they put on Strudelfest to highlight the charm of Old Vail, starring Lacey Chabert and Tyler Hynes.
You did it!
I know.
So let's hop into some news and notes about this movie.
Okay.
The majority of the movie was filmed in Canada, specifically Calgary and Alberta, including the tubing scene and Uncle Grady's home, but there were a few establishing shots and street scenes shot in Vail.
Have you ever been to Vail?
I have not.
Okay, me neither. So I was wondering about this because I had also read that there were the last 2 days of filming were shot in Vail, but I've never been to Vail. I don't know if there's a new part of Vail and an old part of Vail. I have no idea.
Well,
how true to the story is that?
In a minute, we're going to fact check some of the Winter in Vail.
Oh,
moment.
Exciting. My note here says that the last 2 days of filming were December 4th and December 5th of 2019. And this movie was released on January 4th, 2020. Talk about a tight turnaround.
Yeah, which is not unusual. They started filming, obviously, in November 2019 and whipped it out. Here's what I like. Well, nope, not going to do that. No. I have reasons why I like that particular type turnaround. We'll talk about that in a minute. The director wanted a skiing scene in the movie, but Lacey can't ski, so they went tubing instead.
Oh, I have some thoughts on that scene. That's funny.
Okay.
That's funny that she can't. Well, he wanted them a downhill skiing situation.
Evidently, that scene was, Vail is known for its skiing, so they wanted them skiing. Either she can't ski or isn't a strong skier. Skiing is not the sort of thing you can pick up in a day. Snowboarding, I think you could fake it. Skiing is hard. You ever been skiing?
Yeah. Yeah,
hard.
I was on my ass the entire time. Yeah,
I'm not a
thank
good
you.
skier. So I could see how that they wouldn't have had time to train her as a skier and then have her be strong enough to be filmed.
Well, they trained her as a dancer, and she danced in the Christmas waltz. So,
Fair enough.
maybe
Fair enough.
don't discount Lacey and what she can and can't do.
Fair enough.
The director of this movie was Terry Ingram, and he just recently directed The Wedding Veil, which also stars Lacey.
I have a note about The Wedding Veil.
Oh, okay.
At 3.394 million viewers, it had more than any Hallmark movie in 2021.
Get out.
And it's only January 11th. So Lacey is commanding those views.
She is the queen of Hallmark. I think Candace should sit down.
Has been dethroned.
I think so. Wow, that's amazing.
So I have an article from Vail from VailSkiShop.com that is titled "Ask a Local: Fact-Checking Hallmark's Movie Winter in Vail." So
Okay.
I've got some statements, and I want you to tell me if they are true or false.
Okay.
The opening scenes of the movie highlight aerial views of Vail Village.
I'm going to say yes because they filmed there.
Yes, the iconic covered bridge and bell tower are distinctly Vail Village. You cannot park on Main Street in Vail Village unless you are unloading your vehicle.
Am I supposed to say true or false?
Yes.
I don't, oh my gosh, I don't know. True?
It's true. Main Street is reserved for pedestrians and skiers only. The
Okay,
only
so
time
that's
you will see
in the
trucks there are for deliveries.
okay. So in the movie, that's kind of a wink and a nod to actual Vail Village rules. Then,
Yes, ma'am.
all right.
True or false? There is an Edelweiss mountaintop restaurant in Vail.
I'm gonna say sure.
False.
Oh.
Many incredible restaurants and stores in Vail. The Edelweiss Mountaintop Restaurant is not one of them, and the building of that restaurant is not located in town.
So there's not like a big German influence in Vail.
They do have an annual Oktoberfest celebration.
Oh, so maybe I don't know.
True or false? There is an annual Strudel Festival.
God, I hope not. False.
False, however, there is an annual Oktoberfest celebration.
Okay.
True or false? Many of us have more than one job in town.
I would say yes, probably. Especially snow season and not snow season, winter and summer.
Yes, several people have a 9 to 5 and then work in hospitality in the evenings or on weekends.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
True or false? We have horse-drawn carriages for tourists in Vail Village.
I would probably say yes.
False. It would be romantic, but oh so messy. The scene of Lacey and Tyler having an evening horse-drawn carriage was not filmed in Vail Village. True or false? Vail has brightly colored gondola cars.
True.
False. The cars that were in the movie were not from Vail. The ones in Vail are silver. That was filmed in Canada.
I don't even remember those cars in the movie.
They only see that when Lacey arrives to meet Tyler, and they're going to ride up to the top to go tubing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
True or false? There's snow tubing at the top of Vail Mountain.
I'm going to say false.
It is actually true. They have Adventure Ridge, but that's not where they filmed the tubing scene in this movie. That was filmed in Canada.
I have one more little news and note.
Okay.
Uncle Grady's chalet is actually a private home located in Bragg Creek. And all I got to say to that is yikes. That house was not attractive from the outside or the inside.
Oh, I loved it from the outside.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It was so blah.
Just the scenery.
Gross. All right, let's talk first impressions.
Okay, my first impression is this may be one of my favorite winter Hallmark movies.
Oh my God.
Oh no,
Okay.
Here we go.
No, it's not that bad. My first impression is strudel is the most unsexy topic ever.
It looks so good.
No, and you know what in Hamilton, the scene between Hamilton and Washington, and he keeps calling him son, and Hamilton goes, "Call me son one more time," right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
All I could think about is, say strudel one more time, like in that Hamilton voice.
It looks so delicious, though.
No. The strudel was the worst part of it. Strudel, the word strudel, it evokes feelings like panties or musty or like stuff like that. Like it for some reason really grosses me out.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Was there anything you liked about this movie?
I did not hate this movie. I did like this movie. I loved Tyler and Lacey together in this. I just think they're great together on screen. Now we're not reviewing Lacey because this is Tyler freaking Hynes month. I'm trying to compare and contrast. I did think that Tyler and Lacey had great chemistry, but I think he had so much better chemistry with the girl in an Unexpected Christmas. And I can't remember her name right now.
Bethany Joy.
Bethany Joy. Yes. Like that was over the top fireworks for me. This was like a nice, sweet, like kind of have like some chemistry. I just, it's hard to like watch these other movies when like you think the actor or the actress is so good in one film and you're comparing it to another, don't you think?
Of course.
Okay. So I did like them in this movie.
One thing I liked is that this movie just has a classic love story progression. There's no manufactured problem in their way. Even when they meet, there's a small hitch. It's resolved. Their antagonism is resolved very quickly. And even there is a problem, of course, in the end, stops them from immediately getting together. But that problem isn't a result of a miscommunication or not talking about it. They're very clear about what's happening and it's resolved. And I enjoyed the lack of shenanigans.
Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve is shenanigans. So this was nice. However, I'll wait till we get wished for it. No, I wasn't bored. I was kind of bored. The whole strudel thing was way too much, way too long. I love the idea of like, we're going to throw this like, festival. Like that's fun, but strudel would not bring all the boys to the playground. You know what I mean? Make it something else. Like, I don't know. Like, if your local town had a strudel fest, would that be like something you guys would go to?
We're not real festival people, but there's a corn fest. There's lots of fests.
Strawberry. I know and do we go to them? No, we don't. So no,
they're attended.
I don't totally buy that a annual strudel competition is going to bring tourists to town. It may be if I'm already in town and there was, it's like one of those things like the hotel's like, oh, there's a strudel fest happening down at the Edelweiss restaurant.
Go taste some strudes.
You might go to it, but you might not,
Chili is like the least sexy food ever, and I hear constantly about chili cook-offs that people are attending. So I think we're underestimating the masses. Neither would I, but they're...
Listen, if you are listening to this episode, please leave a message in Patreon, or you can DM us or email us and tell me if you would ever attend a strudel fest.
They're like, hey, assholes, we don't all live 15 minutes from Disneyland, so...
I know. Well, what? Does Disneyland have strudel?
Oh, maybe...
I know your
Pinocchio.
point. Your point is, like, yeah, it might, right? I don't know. Let's find out on February 5th.
The point is we live in a tourist destination where there are a number of things to do and not everybody does.
Yeah, I know, but in Vail, if you're going to Vail, you're there for a skiing, like, trip, right? Mm-hmm. That's why people go to Vail, right? Mm-hmm. What else do they do there, like, in the summertime? Do they do anything in the summertime? Is that
I think there's mountain sports,
festival?
Like, I don't know. But there's probably, like, outdoor hiking and fishing and that sort of thing. That seems to be the summer events of mountain towns.
Strudel. Ugh.
You can still ride to the top of the gondola in the summer and see the views. Anyway, Wendy didn't like strudel, but I loved the snow. We're in the middle of New Year, New Movies, formerly called Winterfest, and these movies are not wintry movies, which is okay, because last year we got hit over the head with winter. But I did enjoy. It was snowy. It was clearly cold. We've got Tyler shoving his hands into his pockets as opposed to pushing up his jacket sleeves. You can see their breath. There is actual snow on the ground around them. I loved it.
Okay.
They didn't have to do tight shots with fake snow around them because they were clearly in the snow.
No, I know. And I can appreciate that when we're not watching a Christmas movie with fake snow that was filmed in July. So, yeah, there is like this like little sweet spot of, yes, you're going to get real weather, And I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. And I'm telling you, I really appreciated the snow tubing scene. I thought it was so fun and natural and organic. Like they really did that. She was a little bit freaking out. If you watch the full scene, which I rewound it to watch it again, when they get down to the bottom, Tyler like gets out of his like tube and like kind of eats it a little bit. It's really funny.
And
I was like, I wonder if that was a choice or if that was like really did he slip in the snow or like what happened? It was funny.
It's awkward to get out of a tube. I loved that footage too. I totally would have been the same screaming person going down the hill. You can't help it. The actual tubing park in Canada where they were filming wasn't open yet, so they improvised. But I thought it was very fun and natural and well shot. And I like that there were close-ups on their face, so it wasn't just like sending two random people down a hill and getting footage behind them.
I know. I was wondering. I was like, was Lacey holding the camera like on that? And then he was holding it on her like an iPhone shot. Or
they got
something.
GoPros on their jackets.
On their heads. Yeah, something. After that, they did a little fun little snowball fight scene too, which I liked because, again, real snow, not like perfectly formed cotton snowballs that they picked off the ground, you know.
Uh-huh.
Thought that was really cute. And there was another scene, and I was getting confused thinking that it was the same scene, but it's not. But they're like on skis and they're like walking somewhere.
Oh, they're cross-country skiing, yeah.
I mean, it looks painful. Like I was like, oh, that is so labor intensive. I would never want to do that. But she's like, I'm running. I'm going to beat you. It was funny. And I thought like they must have ad-libbed that part because it was cute and funny and quirky. There's no way that was written.
No,
opinion.
I thought they had lots of natural chemistry together.
Good acting.
Good acting. What did you wish for?
Okay. This is one of those movies where Tyler Hynes starts out as an asshole and then he becomes the lovable guy.
Yeah.
Because he was not very kind to her. Obviously, he knew that she was not from the town. He could have been a little more like, oh, hey, not a condescending jerk, you know?
Yeah.
That bugged me at the beginning. So I didn't like that. But then I did like when he came to the house and was very helpful with the repairs around the house. And they were like funny about it, you know?
Yeah, he kind of dropped that you're an outsider thing pretty quickly. He apologized very shortly after that for his attitude, which I liked. And I liked that he was like, it's freezing in that house. You can't stay there. He wasn't like, oh, little city girl can't handle the mountains. He was like, it's not reasonable for someone to stay in a house without electricity.
Yeah. Hey, here's a question. This is what I was thinking. So she like just got the keys to the house that day, right? And then they go out and they come home after dark. Would you not be scared shitless to go into this house after dark all by yourself? Never stayed there before?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
And it's freezing.
Yeah, that's terrifying. But then they pull up and like all the lights are on inside the house. And I was like, okay, like that's not scary going into if all the lights are on. But still, I was like, I think I might have stayed in a hotel or something. Like,
yeah, been upstairs.
Yeah, she was just there and they left, you know?
Yeah, she just grabs a bunch of blankets from that chest downstairs and piles them on her bed.
Yeah, and have you ever started a fire on your own, like in a old fireplace like that? Like,
No,
I wouldn't
never.
know what to do. I don't even know like how to
Give
open
me a
and close
Duraflame
it.
log.
Yeah, right? No, I mean, anyway. What I wished for was that they just you don't have to always make the guy like this antagonist. Like, he can be a normal guy. They can have a normal encounter. They don't have to have like a confrontational one. It just drives me crazy.
Well, and I don't have a lot of things that I wished for, but in that scene, I think it's very out of character because every other person we meet is so kind and so accommodating. The realtor's like, you call me no matter what you need. I don't remember anybody's name, but the owner of the restaurant is so lovely to her when he meets her, and the waitress is so lovely when they meet in the grocery store, and the townspeople are all wonderful to her. And so we have this one guy who comes from this town where everyone's so lovely, and he's kind of nasty to the newcomer who, okay, doesn't understand the parking rules, and all you had to say was like, whoops, you don't want a ticket, you might want to move your car. I did think that didn't jive with what we're supposed to feel about this town that she then falls in love with.
Right. Agree.
Did you see that?
Wait, I have
Oh, you have more wishes?
Well, yeah. One, I wrote down less strudel. Like, I've already established that at the top. Like, there was too much baking the strudel, like rolling the dough. Like, stop. I get it. I hated it. And also, what?
I was just going to say this was maybe a movie that could have benefited from an additional plot line.
Agree. It was too much of it. There was too much strudel content for me. I also hate when, or wished for, like, don't make this like be like the push and pull of like she leaves her job. She clearly quits her job and moves to Vail. Like, don't have this like, oh, did I do the right thing? I need to go back. Like, she can't do that work in Vail, just like he said, right? Did he not say like, you do event planning here?
Yeah, like Vail, people are having weddings there. People are having big events there. It is a destination. There are definitely events to be planned there, whether she's working for the town or not. Most people go to Vail and they need their events planned. Also, her boss kind of sucked. Like, she quit. Totally. She didn't want to do this. And then what kind of asshole are you that you call her and beg her to come back because you made a bad hire?
Yeah, exactly. And she went back. Bad mistake. Who moves? Who leaves their life in Los Angeles? I think that's where they were supposed to be. And then moves to Colorado and then moves back. Come on. That's it.
Did you see that?
I have one. Just one.
Okay.
And it's about the strudel. When they were making the strudel, they took a ton of time to like make the dough for it, right?
Yeah.
And in a bowl was like sliced apples. I'm like, those things would have turned so brown before they put it in the strudel. Like, come on. That's
also,
all.
When they're making the strudel, at one point they check to see if it's thin enough by sticking a menu
Dirty
underneath
menu?
it. It's gotta be filthy. People touch that thing all day.
That's disgusting. I know. I was like, what? Ugh.
I could feel how sticky that menu was. You know that menu's sticky.
Yeah. Gross.
I have a couple. When Tyler and his contractor buddy arrive at the house, Lacey comes downstairs. She's like, oh my gosh, I overslept. And she goes, what time is it? And he's like, it's 6. And she goes, oh, in LA, first thing means 10. Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Is there any person in business who thinks 10 a.m. is first thing in LA? Now, in New York, the business day starts later, but it starts earlier in California because we're on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody said first thing to you, I would think 8 at the latest.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially someone in the construction business.
Yeah, sometimes even 7:30.
Right? Okay. They go to this fancy chef's restaurant, and she makes these special hot chocolates for them. And you know that this was filmed in 2019 because immediately thereafter, we've got hot chocolate bomb mania sweeping the nation. So this seemed so novel. And wow, what happens when you pour the hot liquid over it?
No.
But now you can get it on every shelf in every grocery store in town.
Yeah, that was funny. That was really funny. And I was watching them closely, too. Like, it did look like they made an actual, like, hot chocolate. Like, because it was, like, steaming. But then, like, I was like, are they really going to take a drink of that? And then, of course, like, continuity. You could see, like, there would be another shot and the drink was, like, half empty. And then it'd be back to full. And, yeah.
I have one more. During Strudelfest at the restaurant, Lacey and Tyler dance. And I think there might be music when they start dancing, but halfway through there's not. And they're dancing and other people are dancing. And there's just kind of the sound of things happening in the restaurant, but there's no music.
Oh, that's funny.
And they're just swaying back and forth. No music.
Then I have somebody, the editor, was like, oops, sorry, I forgot to put music over that. That's funny. I didn't notice that. But I did notice, like, they're going to have their, like, dancing in that back room, the restaurant.
Where'd they put all that stuff?
Fun. Yeah, I don't know. It's out in the back of the restaurant, in the alleyway. I don't know. So, I don't know.
What did you rate this movie?
I gave it 3 stars. It's too much strudel for me.
Oh.
3 stars is not bad, though.
It's a C.
I know. I'm sorry. I mean, I still think Tyler is hot, and I hate his hair at this length, but, like, I just, it's too much strudel.
I didn't mind the strudel. I don't know that I'll ever see a Tyler Hynes movie that's less than a 4-star movie for me. Tyler plus Lacey, 4 stars. I just had hard-eye emotions for it.
Well, I'm glad. And you know what's funny? I couldn't help but think, like, during this movie, like, it came out on January 4th, 2020. Like, this shit was just getting ready to hit the fan, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, what we didn't know back then.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. We would love for you to join us in our Facebook group, which is also called Girls Gone Hallmark. You can find us on Instagram, where we are both at Girls Gone Hallmark and at Megan and Wendy. You can find show notes for every episode, plus tons of other content on our website, meganandwendy.com. We'll see you next time. Bye.